And the Earth is?
Flat.
Flat. The Earth is flat.
My reality, my senses tell me that the Earth is flat and stationary.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at strange and interesting premises about the nature of history and the universe that don't jibe with any standard conception of accepted reality. For the purposes of this list, we are not including creation myths.
There is a huge amount of unrecorded human history beneath the ocean surface that we don't know very much about at all.
Number 20. Cosmic Garbage Theory. Human beings are the eponymous garbage of the Cosmic Garbage Theory.
That's not true. We're not garbage, we're human beings.
In 1969, Thomas Gold was attempting to make a name for himself in the world of astrophysics. While he would eventually be successful, his journey kicked off with a rough start. Almost a decade earlier, he devised a theory considered so absurd that Gold was utterly rejected by the scientific establishment. He came up with the Cosmic Garbage Theory in 1960. Gold suggested the possibility that eons ago, interstellar alien travelers used the Earth as an interplanetary garbage dump. After they left, life bloomed in their wake, springing up thanks to their leftover waste. Number 19. The ancient Romans discovered America.
Without the sea and without controlling the trade routes of the sea, there would have been no empire.
It's somewhat common knowledge that Christopher Columbus didn't actually discover the Americas. In addition to the fact that the continents were already inhabited, Viking Leif Erikson quote-unquote discovered Canada 500 years earlier.
The only remains of a Norse settlement found in North America, at present-day Launcey Meadows, is most likely Leif Erikson's original camp, as described in the sagas.
But did you know that the ancient Romans explored the West hundreds of years before Erickson? Neither did we. This burgeoning online theory is based on the discovery of supposed Roman artifacts among Aztec relics. Ancient Roman and Athenian coins have also allegedly been found in the central United States. Were they elaborate hoaxes? Were errors made? Or did ancient Romans find a way to row across the Atlantic Ocean 2,000 years ago? Number 18. The ancient Greeks were transplants from Northern Europe. Some self-anointed online quote-unquote scholars have a very particular reading of Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey.
Poseidon began his revenge soon enough. For months he blanketed his sea in fog, separated from the rest of the fleet. I was lost.
They believe that his description of the journey of Odysseus didn't take place in the Aegean. Instead, they say it describes the landscape of their true original home in the far north. The geography described in these epic poems, they believe, fits better with the Baltic and North Seas than the Mediterranean. Felice Vinci, an Italian engineer, is the driving force behind this theory. He even wrote a book, The Baltic Origins of Homeric Tales. Few historians agree with Vinci, but in this golden age of conspiracy theories, it remains alive, if not well, online. Number 17. Alistar Crowley, occult spy? Alistar Crowley, infamous occultist, earned many ignominious nicknames in his life. People called him the wickedest man in the world and the Great Beast.
Legend has it that Edward Crowley the child was born with 4 hairs upon the center of his heart, curling from left to right in the form of a swastika, the mark of the beast.
Crowley believed in a sort of sexual mysticism, which was likely just a cover to excuse his promiscuity. Years after Crowley's death, author Richard B. Spence wrote a biography of Crowley titled Secret Agent 666. According to Spence, in addition to being an occultist, Crowley was a secret agent of the British Empire. He had deep ties to pro-German factions in America during World War I. His service, according to the theory, continued through the Second World War.
There are claims that he knew Winston Churchill, and it was he who gave Winston his famous V for Victory sign.
It was then that Ian Fleming of James Bond fame allegedly recruited Crowley to interrogate top Nazi occultist Rudolf Hess. Number 16. The Freemasons gave Germany the Franco-Prussian War. The Freemasons are a not-so-secret society first established in the 17th and 18th centuries.
Freemasonry brings together people of diverse backgrounds, freedom from ignorance, freedom from superstition, freedom from intolerance, freedom from extremism.
Since that time, Freemasons have supposedly been the boogeyman behind one conspiracy or the other. one of the strangest took place after the Franco-Prussian War. In victory, Germany emerged as one of Europe's major military and industrial superpowers. The French, however, were humiliated by defeat. Looking for someone to blame for the loss, groups of far-right Catholics and nationalists used the Freemasons as a scapegoat. Conspiracy theories spread. One of the crazier anti-Mason theories was pushed by a man named Leo Texile. He promoted a particularly pernicious hoax calling the Freemasons devil worshippers.
And for that period, it was very unpopular to be a Freemason.
Somewhat ironically, anti-Masonic sentiment and purges spread in Germany a generation later, thanks to Adolf Hitler. Number 15. William Shakespeare had a ghostwriter. Rumors have surrounded the authorship of William Shakespeare's oeuvre for centuries.
Not a single manuscript of any kind has ever been found written in Shakespeare's own hand. In 400 years, not one document.
Determining the, quote, true identity of Shakespeare's alleged ghostwriter has always been a favorite pastime of amateur sleuths and historians. There are several usual suspects. According to some French historians, the prime suspect is Sir William Stanley, 6th Earl of Derby. A Jesuit spy named George Fenner wrote a pair of letters to his superiors while searching for noble Catholic sympathizers in 1599. He seemed to indicate that Derby was the true author of Shakespeare's work. This connection dovetails with another related conspiracy theory, namely that William Shakespeare, too, was a secret Catholic spy.
Anything is possible, but it depends how far out you're willing to go in imagining unlikely scenarios of conspiracy.
Though there are a list of other suspects, it's a question that will never be answered without a time machine. Number 14. The Bear Cult Hypothesis. Anthropologists and historians have long been fascinated by ancient religions. Unfortunately, it's hard to know much about civilizations that predated writing. What we do know is that examples of animism, the worship of animals, can be found the world over. Some historians have developed a theory about the animal worship of ancient Indo-Europeans. The bear cult hypothesis believes that bear worship is the most ancient form of religion, potentially dating back to the dawn of humanity.
In the high Alps of Switzerland and Silesia, there have been found half a dozen small cave chapels in which there are cave bear skull caches.
While bear worship can be found from Russia to North America, virtually every European nation has a bear cult connection. Finland, France, Spain, and even Greece have paleontological proof of bear worship. There is even evidence of Neanderthal funeral rites conducted for slain bears.
Some of them have rings of stone around them. Other ones, like this one, has the long bone of the bear in the bear's mouth, as though the bear were eating its own flesh.
Number 13. The Olmecs came from China or Africa.
Their civilization existed between 1200 to 400 BC, and were the precursors to later cultures, such as the Maya and Zapotec empires.
This particular historical theory is a little far out there. According to one line of thought, it wasn't Columbus, Erickson, or even the ancient Romans who first crossed the ocean to the Americas. The Olmec civilization is the oldest known organized society from Mesoamerica. They ruled what is now Veracruz, Mexico, from around 1200 to 400 BCE. In 1975, American archaeologist Betty Meggers from the Smithsonian Institute argued that there were significant similarities between the Olmecs and the Shang dynasty of ancient China. Chinese author H. Mike Hsu claimed to have found Olmec tools with Chinese characters. Another theory claims that the Olmecs came from Africa. The scientific consensus believes that these theories are too often filtered through racist tropes and stereotypes to take seriously. Number 12. Tectonic strain theory. Professor Michael Persinger was a psychologist and professor of psychology whose theories earned him both fame and harsh criticism. He was accused of being a crank running pseudoscientific experiments.
He's published various studies suggesting that he can produce out-of-body experiences something like alien abductions, strange bodily sensations, and so on.
Persinger's biggest claim to fame was the tectonic strain theory. According to this theory, visual phenomenon like UFOs and ball lightning aren't real objects or energy in the sky. They are actually hallucinations within the human brain triggered by electromagnetic fields. These fields are caused by the mostly undetectable tectonic strain within the Earth in the weeks and months leading up to major seismic events. The form these hallucinations take, namely alien spacecraft, is a figment of the imagination shaped by popular culture. Number 11. Clockwork Universe Theory. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle wrote several treatises on the nature of the universe. In his writings, Aristotle hypothesized the existence of a supreme being. He called it the prime or unmoved mover, a being who designed the universe and put it to work. In more recent years, this notion has been expanded into the Clockwork Universe Theory. According to the theory, a supreme being sits at the metaphysical center of existence. This universe as we know it is a clock-like device using the laws of physics as its gears. Just as with Aristotle, the god of a clockwork universe doesn't take an active role in the universe. It just created the mechanism and set it in motion. Number 10. The world is a cylinder.
I think that the Earth is round because of science.
Anaximander was a pre-Socratic philosopher from Iona, a region in modern-day Turkey. He was a scientist and empiricist who was particularly interested in the nature of the universe. He is known for a number of beliefs, the most famous being the shape of the world. Anaximander believed that the world was neither flat nor a globe, but was instead a cylinder. Building upon the earlier work of the philosopher Thales, Anaximander described the world as a cylindrical disk floating in infinite space. That disk is in turn surrounded by wheels of fire, the source of the sun, stars, and planets. In this modern era of online conspiracies, the cylindrical Earth theory has found a place in social media debates.
Earth is, of course, cylindrical. That's why we can both see the curve of the horizon and fall off the edge of the planet. It's just science, everyone. That's a science fact.
Number 9. Expanding Earth theory. We know one thing for sure. The universe is expanding.
The amount it's getting bigger is getting bigger every day. The expansion of the universe is accelerating.
Celestial bodies are, at the current moment, soaring at great speed through the cosmos. It is believed by some that the Earth itself is following a similar pattern. Tectonic plates are causing the Earth to slowly expand, getting larger and larger over time. This expansion, rather than greenhouse gases, are responsible for the increase in global temperature over time. A similarly ludicrous theory claims that the exact opposite is true. The Earth is actually getting smaller. Unsurprisingly, mainstream scientific proof of either theory is lacking. Number 8. Jesus Christ appeared in North America. In the nearly 2 centuries since the founding of the Mormon Church, some of their core beliefs have courted controversy. In its early days, polygamy was the source of great tension with other more mainstream Christian sects.
In the 1800s, polygamy was practiced in the LDS Church because of what Mormons believe was a revelation given to the prophet Joseph Smith at the time.
The church has also had to grapple with a long racist legacy. One of the more esoteric Mormon beliefs relates to the history of Jesus' life. According to the Book of Mormon, a group of Israelites followed a prophet Nephi across the Atlantic.
Look, land!
The Promised Land.
Some 600 years later, Jesus appeared in North America preaching his gospel. Centuries later, a failure of belief led these Nephites to their destruction in the year 385 CE. There is no archaeological evidence for this belief, however. Number 7. Hollow Earth theory.
Is it possible that an other Earth can be located within the confines of our own planet?
Long before Godzilla fought Kong, several cultures and writers envisioned a hollow Earth. Some Buddhists believe that a city named Shambhala existed at the Earth's core. Europeans called the city Agartha. Jules Verne's classic story Journey to the Center of the Earth found great popularity in Western culture. The entrance to the hollow Earth is often thought to be at the North Pole.
The poles are actually thinned, and there are actually entrances into the inner core.
In 1964, one researcher named Raymond Bernard claimed that the core of the Earth had been colonized by the Incas fleeing conquistadors. What may have begun as an ancient legend or fantastical piece of fiction has evolved into a full-blown conspiracy theory. Even as Hollywood envisions a kaiju-filled hollow Earth, conspiracists debate the efficacy of a real-world version. Number 6. Anunaki Aliens. Conspiracists have spent years theorizing that aliens helped shape human civilization.
You have to think that whoever is guiding such a precise network of pyramids must have been a very advanced culture. Probably extraterrestrials.
Sites like Easter Island or the world's Great Pyramids have long been sources of fantastical speculation. In 1976, author Zecharia Sitchin centered one such theory on the Anunaki, the gods of ancient Sumer. According to Sitchin, the Anunaki were actually giant aliens from a planet called Nibiru.
The Anunaki was a term of the gods used by the ancient Sumerians, but the original form of it simply meant the sky people.
They traveled to Earth 500,000 years ago after discovering a planet rich with gold. They created humanity, a small hybrid of their own race, as slaves to mine the precious metal. The melting of Antarctic glaciers forced the Anunaki to temporarily leave, though they are likely to return. Presumably, that day will be less than pleasurable for the human race. Number 5. The Phantom Time Conspiracy.
The years 614 through 911 were completely made up. Those 300 years just didn't happen.
Despite its fun name, the Phantom Time Conspiracy has nothing to do with metaphysics or the nature of time. It's actually a wild theory about the Catholic Church. In 1991, Heribert Illich claimed that when the Church was establishing the Anno Domini dating system, they completely rewrote history. In order to make the then current year AD 1000, the Church added 297 years to European history. According to Illich, the Carolingian period of European history was made up out of whole cloth. Charlemagne never existed, and we are actually currently living in the 18th, not the 21st century.
Illich says that Charlemagne was specifically designed as propaganda to support the calendar change.
Number 4. The Illuminati through history.
They are accused of pursuing a sinister objective, of seeking to rule the world. Perhaps, as many claim, they rule it already.
Like the Freemasons before them, the Illuminati were a secret society from the 18th century often blamed for accidents of history. Founded in Bavaria in 1776, their stated goal was to control levers of power without dominating the people.
The secret organization grew in size. In its heyday, the Illuminati had around 2,000 members, all of them high-ranking representatives of society.
They quickly found themselves at the center of European conspiracists. Conservative institutions like the Church often took advantage. They blamed the Illuminati for the French Revolution before the organization fell apart at the end of the century. They re-entered the zeitgeist in the 1960s as the result of a practical joke. Since then, the Illuminati has been blamed for everything from poverty to major wars. Number 3. The Silurian Hypothesis. Life on Earth began at least 3.7 billion years ago. Since then, it has ended and restarted over and over. Homo sapiens are less than 200,000 years old. Is it inconceivable then that a technological civilization grew on Earth before humanity? Named after a Doctor Who villain, the Silurian thought experiment asks just that.
We will wipe the vermin from the surface and reclaim our planet.
Posed by an astrophysicist in 2018, it imagines how we could discover such a society's remnants. Would any of their artifacts have survived here on Earth or on the Moon? Did they escape Earth and colonize the stars? Evidence is non-existent either way, so in theory it could be possible.
The crust is recycled roughly every 500 million years, meaning much of the early fossil record has been deleted, which makes it extraordinarily difficult to track the early rise of life.
Number 2. Lamura and Atlantis.
There is a huge amount of unrecorded human history beneath the ocean's surface that we don't know very much about at all.
Atlantis and Lemuria are each mythical lost civilizations. Supposedly ancient and possessed of superior technology, each was allegedly lost to calamity and time. Atlantis was an island landmass supposedly lost to the sea.
A dazzling civilization, destroyed by the gods as punishment for human pride.
Lemuria was an entire continent, located somewhere in the Indian or Pacific Oceans. While the common consensus shows no evidence for either, both lie at the heart of pseudoscience history. The existence of these long-lost continents, they said, explained why two landmasses far apart can have similar species. Once geologists discovered plate tectonics, the theory essentially died. We now know that Pangea explains biodiversity and similarities. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1. The Earth is flat.
And the Earth is...
Flat. Flat.
The Earth is flat.
My reality, my senses tell me that the Earth is flat and stationary.
The continuation of the flat Earth conspiracy after centuries of empirical evidence shows just how enduring conspiracies can be. The ancient Greeks proved the Earth was round centuries before Copernicus and Kepler disproved the geocentric theory. Just as the Earth revolves around the Sun, both bodies are empirically spheres. And yet, thanks to YouTube and social media, the theory persists to this day. The Flat Earth Society has meetings all over the globe, which they say is not a globe at all. Even when flat earthers prove themselves incorrect, the theory just won't go away.
You know flat earthers, I guarantee it, but you don't know who they are because they're afraid of talking about it.
1, 2, 3!
Some of these theories are admittedly more out there than others. Do you know a secret truth about history or the universe? Let us know in the comments below.
You can deny all the things I've seen, all the things I've discovered, but not for much longer. Because too many others know what's happening out there.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.